Well, yeah, my emotional floor plan. Yeah. Emotional floor plan's a reasonably new one that we started doing. One of the key questions that we're asking people when we're designing a home for them is, how do you want it to feel? How do you want to feel in this space? Then we start to break that down to, let's just use a kitchen as an example. How do you want to feel in this kitchen at 5 a.m. in the morning? You know, how do you want to feel in this kitchen at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? How do you want to feel in this kitchen in the afternoon? How do you want to feel in this kitchen on a Saturday? How do you want to feel in this kitchen on a birthday? How do you want to feel on Christmas? Whatever your holidays are.
Yeah.
How do you want to feel? Don't worry about the kitchen. The kitchen's the kitchen. It's going to have a cooker. It's going to have a washer. It's going to have whatever. How do you want to feel? How do you want to make it emotionally nurture you? What's the emotions it needs to bring? And then architecture and design needs to respond to what those person's emotions had brought that way. For instance, stone might be a great example over, say, well, just go with this one. Stone and timber, being natural timber and real stone, might bring a very, very different feel to somebody over a man-made stone and a piece of Laminex. I'm not saying anything wrong with either, just saying what's the difference in the tactility and the weight and the way it absorbs sound, the way that it does its thing. What's the difference that emotionally that brings to you? Because if we can tweak some of those parts to give you an emotional level that gives you a calmness and a sense of joy, we are going to just take you to a whole nother level in how this house can be. It's when it's becoming a home.
Yeah.
And so...
it's becoming part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my case, we design custom homes.
Yeah.
So we don't design homes for people who don't live in them. We know the people, they live in them. And so with that, we're looking at that and going, let's go through this house room by room. So we already have our concept. We'll already have a sense of that. And we'll start breaking down in the early concept stages. Well, what are the emotions? And we give keywords, trigger words, all these things. But what is, if I say to you, joy, then your outcome of what joy is could be completely different from mine. Joy for you might be, you know, a cold beer and my feet sitting up with my boots off, you know, but, you know, joy for me might be sitting
That's pretty much it, mate. I'm pretty easy pleased.
All us blokes say that until we're asked. Mine might be, you know, tucked in a corner in a big chair with a scotch and a view. Yeah. Without the view, it might not have any joy.
Yeah.
And so finding these elements of where the emotional spaces are in a home is something that we can do, and we can start to map. And then we're usually doing it for a couple. So we've got to map the couple together, which most couples aren't the same. That's why they're couples. And so finding the elements in the journey where they get to respect the other person and why that means so much to them and why that feels so good to them.
Yeah.
And so we start to map this whole thing. And then how does the built structure alter to do that? What creates intimacy? What creates security? What creates freedom? What creates expansiveness? What creates these emotions? So that might be, you know, I feel really fantastic when I've got I've got a big open view, but I've got timber ceilings over me, and I've got timber under my feet. Or it might be, I feel really solid when I'm standing on, you know, concrete or on stone. It grounds me. It brings me down, and I don't want to feel like there's too much space in the room. I want a little bit of coziness, you know. We might do that for a couple, might have one that's expansive and one that's not. And then we're working out what time they'll use it and when they need that feeling most to regenerate their human self. Yeah. So we might bring the lighting down. And that might be the piece that really makes it feel intimate. The whole rest of the room's gone away. Or we might be shining light up into it so that it's like all of a sudden our timber ceiling is raked up and it's looking like it's parts of a tree. Not literally, but that we're getting the sense of nature coming out of it.
But this is like, I love this. And this is the type of thing that I believe people are missing out on. And and probably because they're not getting asked.
Yeah.
So to me, build a smaller home that you can have all this shit in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
forget about just the biggest home you can have and all the white plaster walls and ceilings and tiled floors. Design a smaller home that you can go to this level of detail in and connect with it.
And
Like,
you don't necessarily always need a lot of that thing.
no.
One timber beam might tell the whole story, not a whole timber ceiling.
But people are too focused on getting the biggest house they can.
Yep. Biggest, beautiful.
And missing out on
the value and the quality.
And the intimacy and the... Oh, mate, seriously, we could talk for friggin' days about this shit.